Taiwan Special. Wednesday. For me, it's Monday. I've been dealing with a buddy over here, dealing with depression, and I think some of it goes back to the rain, the past week, and I'm talking with him now. For the record, he's Christian. And, he's asking, from the Christian, he has a Christian worldview, of course. So he's asking why God let certain things happen to him. And I pointed out to him, this is Royu. And like I say, his dad says, talk about his business, and I'm not going to give details, but we all go through hard times. All of us do. And Royu is on my Taiwanese YouTube channel, which, by the way, I need to tell you this. My American YouTube channel is up over 300 subscribers. Yay. That was a few weeks ago. Maybe about a week ago or so. And I didn't mention anything about it. And the Taiwan YouTube channel, which is bilingual, a lot of Chinese, that's up over 800. So I'm, yay. I'm not going to do a big fancy video for it. I did 100 subscribers on my American YouTube channel was a big deal for me. And so I promised to get my webcam for that. 200, I got a good speaker for my phone, a microphone thing to plug in so that it didn't sound like I was in a tin can. And I think my next landmark is going to be 500 and 1,000. And I'll go do something good. I've been thinking about what camera I should get. Should I do GoPro, which is expandable, or should I do one of these video camera things that can have an external microphone plug into it? So I'm toying and contemplating with those things. The GoPros are quite expandable. You can put a lens on the front of them, and you can plug all kinds of gadgets and goojits to it and make it look like it's a $25,000 camera. And you've got this big fancy lens and a great high-end outdoor fur coat. Okay, police are going by outside. A high-quality fur coat, directional condenser microphone on it, and it looks like it's like a $25,000 camera. And then at the center of all this stuff is a little tiny GoPro. Like, you can expand GoPros. So I'm looking at that. Yay. Okay. Well, Taiwan channel, Royu does some of the YouTubing stuff with me on the Taiwan channel. And he's been, it's a normal phase. This is the thing. It's normal to feel depressed and sad about life, is normal for a lot of people. And if you've never felt that, then there's a lot of character building experiences that you haven't been through. And if you do feel that, it's normal. It's normal. That's the thing. The issue is when we get depressed, we start to think about our own depression. I've been there. I was incredibly depressed through high school and through college. It was very hard every day getting up and to keep going. And you're just sad all the time. And you can't, on the one hand, you can't tell a depressed person, you got to snap out of it, man. You can't tell the person that. But myself, having come out of it, the person who's depressed has to go through a series of steps. And one of the steps in the middle of coming out of it, to get out of it, there's a series of steps. The middle steps include the person telling themselves, I've got to snap out of it, man. Like the person has to get up to the point where he, her, she tells himself that and then continues on. Snap out of it. But that's for someone to tell themselves in the middle of the process of coming out of depression. That is not something you tell someone else. And what happens is emotions are like a flame. They're just here and flicker and they're gone. And they come as quick as they go, and they're constantly changing. That's why Heraclitus put fire on the periodic table of the elements when there was only 4 elements there, because fire is always changing. Emotions are like that. You don't feel your emotions tomorrow that you had today. And so when you're out of your depression, you don't feel the depression anymore. And a lot of people come out of depression and they remember that in the process, I had to tell myself, just get, snap out of it, man. Like I had to tell myself that. So then, and they really did deal with depression, but they forgot how it felt, because that's what emotions, you don't remember emotions. You remember that you were sad, but you don't remember the feeling of it. But you only know the feeling you have now. It's just, there's the thing about emotions. Yeah, I remember I was depressed. I snapped out of it. And so then they go tell everybody to snap out of it. So wait a minute. You had depression, and somewhere along the line coming out of it, you just told yourself to snap out of it. But no one went up to you and said, just snap out of it. But your solution is to go to other people who are depressed and say, just snap out of it. So it's like, so often we have an experience and a perception along the road, and then we think that doing that to others is the way to spread it, is the way to spread the goodness or whatever, spread the love, spread the seeds. Just because you had an experience doesn't mean that that's what you do to initiate the same experience somewhere else. It's like A happened to initiate experience B, therefore I'm going to do B to initiate experience B in others. It's like, wait a minute, dude. No. There's, assumptions are everywhere in how we work and think and operate. Anyhow, it's just an interesting factoid. But just dealing a lot with depression. And one of the issues with depression, one of the things is just stop thinking about how depressed you are and focus on work. And take one step at a time. Do good things for people. Be nice to people. Find someone to be nice to. Just being nice to people. Don't act like you're the Messiah who's going to go in and they need you. Not like that. Just do something nice for someone. Make someone a cup of coffee and don't get a thank you. Go to the store and go to the gas station toll booths. Pay for the toll of the car behind you. I've done at the gas station. People line up. And so I'll pay for the gas of the person behind me sometimes. I see a kid who's searching for his coins. I'll throw $100 at the clerk and say, give $100 to the guy behind me, please. And then I'll leave before he can say thank you. Go buy something for someone and say thank you. Go to Starbucks. Say, here's $5. Please put it towards the person behind me, and then keep the rest as a tip. And then you're gone out of there before they can thank you. That kind of stuff will really make you feel better if you're feeling down or depressed or just down. But, that's one thing. Do something nice for somebody else, but also focus on work. Distract yourself from depression by just focusing on work. I don't know why I'm rambling about depression. Maybe you don't have depression problems. Maybe you'll meet someone that does. Don't tell them to snap out of it. Now, you can say to someone that's depressed, the hard part, sorry to tell you, but the hard part about dealing with depression is that people who come out of it eventually have to tell themselves to just snap out of it. Somewhere along the way, they have to tell themselves that, and it's not fun to tell themselves that. Now, I'm not telling you that, but you just need to know that sooner or later, you're going to have to do that to yourself sooner or later. And that discussion there is coming. And that's the hard part about it. You can share that as an FYI. That's interesting. Someone that's depressed will be happy to hear it because they want attention. So I don't know why. It's a useful thing, dealing with people. There's a lot of stupidity and sorrow in the world, and we've got to deal with people every day that could be going through stuff. You might deal with someone that's going really slow down the road, and you might not know that the person's really, had 5 family members die all of a sudden and is trying to function. We don't know why other people go through the stuff that they do. Is it the story of the kid on the train? And his kids, probably subway type mass transit, and his kids run around acting terrible, and someone runs up and yells at the dad for his kids acting terrible, and the dad looks up crying and says, "I'm really, really sorry. You're right. See, their mother just died, and we came from their funeral, and they don't know how to react." And it's like, well, that guy feels like a jerk. We don't know what other people are going through, and it's not up to us to save them, but we could understand and make a positive difference. So, part of the thing about dealing with depression is and it's, I'll tell you what, it's amazing how Royu reacts to this, because his dad's there and we're talking to him about it. And it's the same thing for everybody. Take the next step. Take out the garbage so it doesn't pile up. If the garbage piles up in your house, you're going to be depressed about the garbage piling up. Don't think about how depressed you are. Clean the floor, take out the garbage, keep the normal stuff going. It'll distract you from the depression, and it'll be less stuff to be depressed about. People get all sad that their house is so dirty, and they're too busy being sad to clean their house. Well, stop being sad and just go clean the house. And some of that will just sort of make it go away a little bit. That's not the end-all solution, but it sure does help. Depression's a spiral. We think about how depressed we are, and we get more depressed. And we stop counting our blessings. And that's where it gets to the point where it really is just a pity party. And not with everybody, but it can get to that point where we wallow in our own self-pity and we sink lower and lower like quicksand. Slowly, like quicksand, so to speak. So it really is like, depression's like a quicksand trap. And the worst thing you can do is feel sorry for yourself. You've got to think about something other than how sad you feel. I can't tell you how many people I've known that go off and do terrible things, whatever country. I've seen it in America and in Taiwan. And it's because they're thinking about how sad they feel. So I'm gonna, that's interesting. I'm gonna leave that at that, and I'm gonna come back tomorrow, and I might talk about kind of an alternate solution to all this. See you then.